everyone, and welcome back to my reality recap. Even though we have reached the end of another semester, I have a ton of reality news to catch you up on. Dancing with the Stars semifinals, and of course, the dramatic news of a new Bachelorette. Starting off with Dancing with the Stars, this season has proved these stars are a force to be reckoned with on the ballroom floor. Last night was the semifinals where 6 couples competed to dance ahead of a double elimination at the end of the night. MTV Catfish host Neve Schulman and former Bachelorette star Kaitlyn Bristowe found themselves at the top of the leaderboard at the end of the night with perfect scores of 30 for both of their routines. Rapper Nelly, MTV host Neve Schulman, former Bachelorette Kaitlyn Bristowe, and actress Justina Machado all advanced to the finals for next week's show. Former Disney star Sky Jackson, figure skater Johnny Weir, and Backstreet Boy AJ McLean were eliminated from the competition. Tune in on Monday night to find out which couple will earn the bragging rights of the Mirrorball Trophy this season. And keeping with all things ABC, there's a new Bachelorette in town, and no, it's not Claire Crawley. In true Chris Harrison fashion, this is proving to be one of the most dramatic seasons of The Bachelorette ever. In a record-breaking 4 episodes, Bachelorette Claire Crawley is engaged and has moved on. This switch-up has left many fans wondering, is this the end? Nope. Tayshia Adams to the rescue, please. Is Tayshia going to turn this beat around? I sat down with Reels Talk crew for an in-depth combo. Hey everyone, we are back and with a new Bachelorette, as you guys just heard. So without further ado, we're just going to jump right into the conversation about Miss Tayshia as the Bachelorette, but also how Claire's journey just ended with Dale. So is anybody just dying to go first?
I am going to go out and say that my hot take. So I know that a lot of people have Claire hate, which honestly, she did cause a lot of drama, but I have to say I am pro her and Dale. And I realize it's a hot take, but I am like so for them as a couple. Like I think she came in, she knew what she wanted. It was quick. It was definitely quick, but honestly, like I'm here for it. She seems happy and we get a whole new Bachelorette, which I'm thrilled about.
I have to ask you, Heidi, do you really think this is love? Because I have so many differing opinions. When Chris Harrison asked her if they had talked before, for sure it was going through my mind, like for sure, yeah, she had all her guys on social media. She could have looked at anybody. But then when she went into the conversation and was like, I definitely like looked at Dale and I would look at his account when I got sad or whatever. I'm like, this sounds like a cyber stalking incident and not so much love. So when he showed up, I just felt like this is more lust, not love. And all the TikToks that I've watched that break this down too, people are really saying that they don't think this is gonna last. And like no shade, no tea, like they're a really cute couple and I hope that they do last. But what we've seen so far in consistency with Bachelor relationships, I don't know about this. Like she found him within a week and a half and she was gone. I'm like, girl, you had the whole journey this time and you cut it short. I really hope it works out for her sake because I really am rooting for her. But I just don't know if I really believe that it's love. I don't know.
I was glad that this chapter closed, in my honest opinion. Happy for her and Dale, but it's time to move on. I'm happy that, they found love, if it is love. But it just we really could have ended the season, the first episode, if we're going to be honest. As soon as she walked out, she was like, I think I found my husband. They could have been like, all right, show's done. Tayshia, come on in. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Ben,
I gotta agree with Kalyn here. I think this is just a situation where Claire was stalking Dale on Instagram, and she basically like in her head created this version of Dale that is some perfect man who she doesn't really know him. I mean, and she kicked the dude off for her not knowing her, which you can't know someone. I mean, you're just looking at pictures and she's like, oh, he cares so much about his family. It's like, you've had like 5 conversations with him. So, I mean, I'm excited for Tayshia because I think Tayshia is just overall a greater Bachelorette for this season.
Yes, I'm honestly so here for Tayshia, 10 out of 10, which I was here for the drama with Claire, but I think like Tayshia is a real sweetheart. She's so charismatic. I mean, you can already see that she's making connections, and I'm like so in for that.
Literally, as soon as she walked in, all of the guys, like, their mouths dropped. They literally were like, Claire, who? Tayshia, hi, hey, Tayshia. That's literally all of the guys as soon as she walked in. So I'm excited for her season.
Yeah, I've always been a really big Tayshia fan. And how do we feel about them only bringing in 4 guys, like 4 new guys for her when Claire got a whole 30 men to pick from? Like, how do we? I thought, because when she went outside, I'm like, for sure they're going to bring in like 10 more new guys. And then it was just 4. I was like, what is 4 going to do for her? I mean, granted, I guess it's something over nothing, but she basically got all of Claire's leftovers, like whoever she had already had a slight connection with, which you could see from last week's episode. It messed with Jason so much that he had to leave because he had fallen in love with Claire. And so my thing is, and the other thing that I wanted to note was it was kind of funny. Like when Tayshia came in, it's like you got a complete 360 of how everybody was feeling because they were like, oh yeah, Tasha's way more my speed. Like Tasha's way more my speed. I'm like, so were you just lying about Claire? Like wanting to get to know her? Like that's what was so funny to me. It was just like, oh my gosh, it's Tasha. Like you're so much more my type. Like, I thought that was funny.
That cracked me up too. Like they just like immediately flip-flopped, which I get it. Like she's gorgeous and just freaking awesome and like easy to get along with, and like those connections are happening. But like at the same time, like a lot of them like signed up for Claire, you know, like they were there for Claire, and some of them had connections with Claire. So like, I don't know, I can't help but wonder.
I think they honestly had that mentality, like, by, like, the second episode. I think a lot of them had that mentality, like, well, it's kind of clear that she's not here for us. She's obviously here for Dale, even though they didn't want to admit it, like, when they did their little interviews. But it was obvious, even to them, that, like, she was going to pick Dale in the end game. So, like, I think they were kind of, like, already storing away their feelings for Claire and were, like, moving on.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I gotta say, my guy Ivan, who's my front runner for the season, he's my sneaky underdog. I mean, they haven't showed much of him in the future with Claire in any of the sneak peeks, but he definitely changed his mind when Tayshia, because I mean, there's like a 9-year difference between Ivan and Claire, and he's like, Tayshia is definitely more my speed. Yeah, he flip-flopped completely. Yeah. I love Ivan completely.
Team Ivan all the way.
Well, thank you guys for joining me today for this Bachelorette Real Talk. I am so glad that we got to unpack what we had stored away, our feelings, and I hope everybody else at home that's watching, if you have any comments, leave them on our Instagram. Let us know how you guys feel about how this season played out, because I'm really interested and I love talking about Bachelorette, anything. So thank you guys for joining me.